Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about, so let's delve straight into the topic. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Dean Henderson. I've been talking to you about Dean Henderson, recently. Also too, going to be giving you the latest news on Jack Grealish, because a bit more additional information is updated about him. May also talk with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho as well on this video. And I'm also going to be talking with you about Wissam Ben Yedder, because some news is updated about him. And also I'm going to be giving you the news on Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. So there is lots to get into. But I am going to start with the news on Dean Henderson. So I think this is stemming from The Sun, and it's been reported in quite a few other media outlets, but I know The Sun isn't a reliable source, but they reportedly said that we are facing a dilemma over Dean Henderson, because reportedly if the season is to resume, and Sheffield United do get qualification for the Champions League, Dean Henderson could cost us around £60 million. So we've got to decide whether or not if we are going to keep him, at Sheffield United. Now, obviously, we've already made a decision on Dean Henderson's future anyway, like he updated you last week. Obviously, we are willing to loan Dean Henderson out again, but we are reluctant to offload him on a permanent transfer, because obviously, we do see Dean Henderson as a long-term replacement for David De Gea. But I've got to make an admission, Dean Henderson's done very, very well on his loan spell with Sheffield United, and he's had a few loan spells, hasn't he? Sheffield United, Grimsby, Stockport, Shrewsbury. Dean Henderson's had quite a few loan spells, and I think he has got a contract with us until 2022 and that. Dean Henderson, may want to go on a permanent transfer anyway, because obviously, if he was to come back to Manchester United next season, he would be our number 2, because we've already confirmed that David De Gea is going to be remaining our number 1 goalkeeper and that. So there you go. So that is the latest news regarding, Dean Henderson. But, like I said, David De Gea said he wants to stay at the football club, like he updated you the other week. And he intends to stay at Manchester United, does David De Gea, for the next 10 years. I'm very, very sceptical about that, but I still think, he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United. David De Gea, of course, now is approaching his 10th year at the football club, because he has been here now for around 9 years. And, David De Gea has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we paid £17 million for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. And like I did say to you, in the last year and a half, 2 years or so, David De Gea has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes, because he has made quite a lot of calamitous mistakes in that. But I think analysing it, David De Gea has had a good probably 6.5, 7 years out of the 9 years he has been at the football club. David De Gea, of course, has won everything here domestically. I think he's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the past 6 or 7 years, reflecting on his good run of performances. And I think he's nearly made 400 appearances for us in all competitions as David De Gea, or it might be 400 appearances in all competitions. Don't forget, back in 2015, which was 5 years ago now, Real Madrid came very, very close to signing David De Gea, but due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. PSG and also Juventus have expressed their interest in David De Gea in the past and that. Don't forget, last September, we give David De Gea a new long-term contract worth £375,000 a week. So David De Gea is the highest paid at the football club, and he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. And I think David De Gea is now, 28 or 29 years of age. But yeah, he does want to remain at the football club, does De Gea. So he's going to be remaining our number 1 goalkeeper in that. But like I said, when David De Gea does eventually leave the football club, I think he will make a return back to Spain anyway. Because like I said, he began his career in Spain, born in Spain, his family's from Spain, and of course his relatives in that are from Spain, and his girlfriend's from Spain and stuff like that. So there you go. Obviously, we've got Sergio Romero as well. Sergio Romero tends to play in the cup games and that. Like I said to you before, Sergio Romero isn't reliable enough yet to become our number 1 goalkeeper. We've also got Lee Grant. He's seldom, played. He's seldom played as Lee Grant, since his arrival from Stoke back in the summer of 2018. I think he's out with injury, and I think Lee Grant is a long-term absentee. Also, to Joe Pereira, we've got him out on loan as well. I think he's on loan at Hearts, if I'm right. But there you go. There you go. So yeah, so that is the news regarding Dean Henderson. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Now I'm going to give you the latest news on Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. So I've been reading reports today regarding Jack Grealish, and as you all know, he is one of our priority targets for the summer transfer market. Now, Kevin Campbell, I think, has come out, who's a former Arsenal player, and he's actually said that Arsenal should make Jack Grealish one of their targets. And reportedly, Gabriel Agbonlahor has given his verdict on the speculation regarding Grealish, and he believes from his own perception that Jack Grealish, will stay at Aston Villa next season. Now, Jack Grealish is being subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. Now, we do know how much Jack Grealish will cost us. He'll probably cost us in the 60 or the 70 odd million pound range. That's if Aston Villa do avoid relegation. But if the season resumes and Villa were to get relegated, then I don't think he'd cost as much as 60 or 70 million pounds. We've already revealed that our preference is Jack Grealish over James Maddison because Jack Grealish is more versatile. Plus, Jack Grealish is a much cheaper solution than James Maddison and that. Like I said, Jack Grealish up until this point has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. He's been a Villa player since the age of 6, and he's been in their senior squad since 2014. But I think since then, he has become an integral part of Aston Villa's team as Jack Grealish. He was key for them getting promotion to the Premier League. He was key for them getting to the Carabao Cup final this season. And I've got to say, Grealish has flourished under Dean Smith's guidance. Of course, Grealish has got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023, so still got around 3 years remaining on his contract. Did come out quite a few weeks ago saying that we've got a controversial plan to play Jack Grealish as a right winger, even though he isn't predominantly a right winger. I think he's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but I think this season he's been playing on the left-hand side as Jack Grealish, and he is only at the age of 24. So I think now there's a U-turn in this, Could Jack Grealish stay at Villa? Could he go to Could he go to Arsenal? Tottenham, don't forget, came close to getting him back in the summer of 2018. Don't forget, Jack Grealish did recently make an admission saying he loved Ronaldo's iconic number 7 shirt when he was growing up and stuff like that. So that did fuel speculation up. So there you go. So that is the latest news on Jack Grealish. But Manchester United are in search for a midfielder and that. But there you go. Now, let's give you the news on Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm also going to give you the news on Gareth Bale. So reportedly, Sir Alex Ferguson back in 2013 did want to re-sign Cristiano Ronaldo, and he also wanted to sign Gareth Bale. And I think Patrice Evra has confirmed this, and of course Patrice Evra is a former Manchester United player. Now, so he did want to re-sign Ronaldo back in 2013, and reportedly Ronaldo agreed to return to Manchester United, so he was planning to leave Real Madrid to come and reunite with us at Old Trafford. But the main explanation why Cristiano Ronaldo didn't return to the football club is because Sir Alex Ferguson announced his retirement 2 weeks after he failed to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. So this is why Ronaldo didn't come back to Manchester United. And like I've said to Ronaldo is the best player we've had in the Premier League era. Of course, Ronaldo did endure 6 years at Manchester United, so he was a long-serving player. Of course, I think we got him in 2003 from Sporting Lisbon for around, was it £12 million. Obviously, Ronaldo won the FA Cup in his first season with the club. I think his first full season he won the FA Cup with us. He also won 3 Premier League titles with us because we did win 3 titles in a row back in 07, 08 and 09 and that. And he also won the Champions League with us, did Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think Ronaldo made 292 appearances for us in all competitions and scored 118 goals for Manchester United and that. But definitely the best player we've had in the Premier League era. Obviously, after 6 years with us, of course, we let him join Real Madrid. Of course, he joined Real Madrid for £80 million. So we made like a £68 million profit on him because, like I said, we paid £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. Enjoyed a good, was it 9 or 10 years with Real Madrid and that. And then obviously, Juventus got him in the summer of 2018 for around £100 million or something like that, wasn't it? Ronaldo, of course, is in his early 30s now. Ronaldo, I think, has won around 29 major honours in his playing career. He scored over 700 senior goals for club and country. He's won 5 Ballon d'Ors. I think he's got the record for the most goals in the Champions League. He's got around 128 in that. So there you go. So Ferguson, did want to, re-sign him back in 2013 and that. But like I've said before, it's very, very rare, that players go back to their former clubs. We have seen it happen. We saw Pogbino coming back to us from Juventus because we bought him back. We saw Rooney going back to Everton, after he endured 13 years at Man United. So yeah, it does happen. It does happen that. By the way, Gareth Bale, yes, so we did want to sign him as well back in 2013, but Gareth Bale has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. We've been in for Gareth Bale, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years or so at least. Like I said, I think we first expressed our interest in Bale under the David Moyes era and that. And I think, Real Madrid are looking to offload Gareth Bale. I think this is now Bale's 7th season with Real Madrid. I think he's got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022 as Gareth Bale. So he's got a couple of years remaining on his contract. Of course, Real Madrid did pay around £85 million in from Tottenham back in 2013. Gareth Bale, is aging up. Is he like in his late 20s? Or is he 30 now? He might be 31. But I've got element of concerns about Bale, nowhere near as good as he used to be. Also, too, very, very injury prone. And Real Madrid have been trying to get rid of him. Was it last summer, if I can remember rightly, that he'd been offered £1 million a week to go and play in China? But obviously, that didn't materialise because I don't actually think there was a fee involved in that. But I don't see Gareth Bale coming back to Manchester United. He's well Premier League proven because he did enjoy 6 years with Tottenham. Obviously, before he was at Tottenham, he began his career with Southampton. Bale can play on the left, he can play on the right. When he was younger, he was predominantly a left back, was Gareth Bale and that. So that's the news on that. So yeah, that's actually being reported in the Daily Express and the Daily Mail, and I think it's in quite a few other media outlets as well. So there you go. And I've got to say, I think Ronaldo's done well at Juventus, to be quite honest with you. I've watched him a couple of times there, and he's done alright, to be quite honest with you. So yeah. So now I want to give you the news on Wissam Ben Yedder from Monaco. Now, the news is on Wissam Ben Yedder. I'm going to reiterate some of the stuff that I mentioned the other day because I spoken with you, didn't I, about Wissam Ben Yedder, because I think there's up to like 5 clubs that have expressed their interest in Wissam Ben Yedder. According to recent reports, we've opened up negotiations with Wissam Ben Yedder's agent over the possible move for the player. Now, Wissam Ben Yedder is valued at around £40 million. So you've got to say he is a cheap solution and he is a forward. And of course, Man United are in search for a striker. I think Liverpool are in for him. Arsenal have expressed their interest. Arsenal have probably seen him as an adequate replacement for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because Aubameyang's expected to leave. I think, Real Madrid have also expressed their interest in the player. By the way, this is Wissam Ben Yedder's, this has been Wissam Ben Yedder's first season with Monaco. So he's been at Monaco now like a year or almost a year as the player. Of course, Monaco, did get him from Sevilla last summer. They paid around £35 million for the player, so they did trigger his release clause that he did have in his contract with Sevilla. And he did sign a long-term contract because Wissam Ben Yedder is under contract with Monaco until 2024. Don't really know how he's performed at Monaco. I haven't really watched him, to be quite honest with you. I think we also expressed our interest in Wissam Ben Yedder when he was at Sevilla, by the way. Wissam Ben Yedder did enjoy around 3 years with Sevilla. I think he scored around 70 goals in 138 games. Before that, he was at Toulouse, scored around 71 goals in 174 appearances for Toulouse. But yeah, maybe Monaco are open to selling the player. Wissam Ben Yedder, I think, is the age of 29. Like I said to in recent years, Monaco have lost a lot of their imperative players. Obviously, they lost Mbappe to PSG. They lost Benjamin Mendy to Manchester City. They lost Bakayoko, but has he gone now back to Monaco, if I'm right? But they did lose him to Chelsea, Bakayoko. They also lost Fabinho to Liverpool, did Monaco. They lost Thomas Lemar to Atletico Madrid. So, Monaco have lost quite a few of their imperative players. But when Monaco did have all their, good players, they did win the league, was it, a couple of years ago. And that was the first time they'd won the league, I think, was that the first time they'd won it in like 2 decades or something like that. But yeah, they did lose a lot of their good players, did Monaco, let's be honest. But yeah, so reportedly, we're in for Wizin Ben Yedder, because obviously, we're in search for a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because, we did let Lukaku leave the football club last summer. Obviously, he joined Inter Milan. Obviously, we Inter Milan paid around £72 million for him. Lukaku did enjoy 2 years at Manchester United, but Lukaku's doing very, very well now with Inter Milan. But we need to find a replacement for him because we didn't get that replacement for him last summer, unfortunately. We let Herrera go last summer after he enjoyed 5 years at the club. We let him go on a free transfer, but last summer we didn't get a replacement for him in our midfield and that. So there you go. So that is the latest news regarding Wizem Ben Yedder and that. Obviously, you know what's been going on with Jadon Sancho. I've been reading reports on Jadon Sancho today, and it reportedly says that he's being pictured back in training with Borussia Dortmund. I'm not going to fully assure that we're going to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer, but he is one of our priority targets in that. Obviously, Dortmund have said they want at least £100 million for the player. Some reports were saying a while back that they wanted around £120 million, but reports came out last week saying, we was not willing to break our transfer record to sign Jadon Sancho. We was only willing to pay in the £80 million range for the player and that. And I think Borussia Dortmund have now come to accept the fact that he does want to leave to rejuvenate his career. So Borussia Dortmund are now obviously looking for an adequate replacement for the player and that. But Jadon Sancho did reveal if he does leave Borussia Dortmund this summer, he does want to come to Manchester United. And we've actually not offered Jadon Sancho the number 7, because I did do a video the other day saying, who should be Manchester United's next number 7. We've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, but there again, our recent number 7s haven't been so good, let's be honest. We have been working on Jadon Sancho's contract for quite some time. We've also been in negotiations with his agent for quite some time. Fabrizio Romano broke out that news, so there you go. But reports came out last week saying that Borussia Dortmund have agreed to let Sancho go, providing that their asking price is met and that. So yes, they did. Not only Man United have been in for him, like I said, Chelsea have been in for him, Liverpool have been in for Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players, go to the Premier League in recent years. Don't forget they let Shinji Kagawa go. They let Aubameyang go to Arsenal. They let Gundogan go as well, didn't they? They also let Christian Pulisic go to Chelsea. Did Borussia Dortmund, so they have let quite a few of their imperative players go in recent years and that. But I've got to say, Jadon Sancho's been a revelation at Borussia Dortmund. He's now into his 3rd season with them. But Dortmund selling him in the summer, they'll make a huge profit on the player because they only paid £7 or £8 million for him from Manchester City. And beneficial thing about us recommending him in, he's got a good friendship with Rashford. Rashford revealed before that he wants Sancho at Man United next season, and he's also well proven in that in the Premier League. He had to leave Man City, Sancho, because he didn't get any first team opportunities. And before he was at Man City, he was at Watford, was Jadon Sancho. I think he was at Watford for several years, and Sancho is predominantly a right winger in that. So yeah, we need to get him on the board. There's been, reports saying the other week and that, we've got to probably sell around 4 or 5 of our players to fund the move for the likes of Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish and that. But I think we have set our maximum price for Sancho and Harry Kane, because I also mentioned Harry Kane to you guys yesterday, and it did say, we aren't willing to pay any more than a combined £200 million for the duo. Like I said to you, in reality, Kane and Sancho would cost us around £300 million. So there you go and that. So that's basically, the latest on, the transfer news. But like I've said to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already revealed his plans for when the summer transfer market does open. Obviously he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. Of course, obviously, so far Solskjaer has recruited 5 players to the football club and he has spent £220 million. Didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous windows he's brought 5 players in. Last summer brought Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, and in January he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. And the players that he's brought in, have actually, been very, very impressive. So I've got to credit Solskjaer of the players that he has recommended in so far to the football club. So if Solskjaer can get around 4 signings in the summer, that will be 9 players in total he has recruited in. But I can't see us recruiting 4 players in the summer, due to this coronavirus pandemic. A lot of teams are under financial pressure and stuff like that, and a lot of clubs' summer transfer budgets will be reduced. I think we'll make at least one signing in the summer. We'll probably make 1 or 2 signings in the summer. But Solskjaer did say, he wants to make around 4 signings because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders. And he's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. Wants to recommend the centre forward in, wants to recommend the right winger in, and also wants to recommend a midfielder in. Of course, there's still some reports emerging out saying that he wants to recommend a centre half in, but I'm very, very sceptical that we will recommend the centre half in the summer transfer market. But I do like what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out with, around, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago now, saying that we will exploit the transfer market when it does open. So what it means in that aspect is that, he believes we can get, the right calibre players to the football club. So yeah, but Solskjaer knows he's got the backing of Ed Woodward. He's also got the backing of the Glazers. Don't forget, Ed Woodward's been talking a lot recently. Ed Woodward came out a couple of weeks ago and says, we won't do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So what he means in that aspect is that, we won't be spending millions of pounds and stuff like that. But obviously, like a week or so later, he reiterated what he said in a way. He was saying, we will remain highly competitive in the market. He said he was willing to back Solskjaer, and he made a transfer promise to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did Ed Woodward and that. And obviously, I give you the news, didn't I, yesterday? I think a lot of Manchester United fans as well would have given you this news. Ed Woodward has confirmed we are no longer looking to recommend a director of footballing. The main explanation for this is he's reflecting on the impacts that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made. So maybe, Ed Woodward's got a lot of trustworthy in Solskjaer and that, to bring the right players in. But yeah, and it did actually say we'd been in search for a director of football for the last 2 years or so. We'd been in search for a director of football. But Ed Woodward, for a long, long while, did want to recommend a director of football and to oversee the club's transfer strategy. Obviously, there was quite a few names linked with the director's role. A few former Man United players as well, Ferdinand. I think there was talks of Fletcher once, Evra, Paul Mitchell as well, he was another one. Ralph Ragnick, he was also linked with that director's role. But we are no longer getting one in now. Ed Woodward has confirmed this and that. And Ed Woodward has been at the football club since 2012, is it? So he's now in his 8th season at Manchester United, is Ed Woodward. We have been very, very critical of Ed Woodward, this season especially, but for several years we've been very, very critical of him, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy has been for several years. Obviously, of us overpaying for players as well is being criticised. Also, his poor selection of managers is being criticised for that. So, there you go. But, yeah, and like I said, Solskjaer, he's planning to get rid of around, 5 players in the summer, maybe 6 players in the summer. Like I said, a good 9 players have left Manchester United since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. So, to be fair, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood. Obviously, we've let some players go on permanent transfers. Obviously, some have been loaned out. Like I said, Henderson's out on loan. Henderson's out on loan. Smalling's out on loan with Roma. Sanchez is out on loan at Inter Milan. I gave you the news regarding Sanchez not too long ago, didn't I? So yeah, we have loaned quite a few players out and that. But yeah, so I'm hopeful, Solskjaer can get rid of more deadwood in the summer transfer market. Rojo, I think we'll get rid of him on a permanent transfer because he's out on loan at Estudiantes. Smalling will get rid of him on a permanent transfer. Jones will go. Lingard will go. Pereira will go. Hopefully we can get rid of either Sanchez on a permanent transfer or at least get him another loan spell somewhere else. Delors could possibly leave the football club as well. So yeah, we are going to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer market, definitely in that. And I think, by the way, we've got around 9 players' contracts that are due to expire next year, so that's something else we do need to sort out. But to be fair, we have extended quite a lot of players' contracts since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, so that's another positive to take. Also, too, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, and that's our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. I said his approach to the big games this season have also been very, very good because we've registered like 17 points against the big six sides this season. We've Of course we've beaten Man City 3 times this season. In that aspect, Solskjaer's made history because he become the first manager to beat Pep Guardiola 3 times in one season. Drew with Liverpool earlier on this season. He's overcome Frank Lampard 3 times as a manager as Solskjaer. So I think his approach to the big games have been absolutely fantastic. I think he's also promoted the youth very, very well because the young players have been given their opportunities this season. And I think there's a lot of players at Manchester United that have got foreseeable futures at the football club. Obviously, if the season does resume as well, let's put this into the equation. We can get some silverware on the board because we are into the last state of the Europa League. We're into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, so hopefully, we can get some silverware on the board under Solskjaer. There's still things that Solskjaer needs to work. There's still things that Solskjaer needs to work on. Don't get me wrong. I think he needs to work out his best formation because he's persistently been changing formation this season. We've gone with a 4-2-3-1 a lot. From my own perception, doesn't really seem to suit our standards. I think we'll look more expansive with 3 at the back. I think quite a few times we've gone with that 4-3-3 formation, to be quite honest with you. I think Solskjaer's approach to the games against lower opposition needs to improve because we haven't been so good against lower opposition this season. We've dropped far too many points against lower opposition, and I think we've drawn a hell of a lot of games this season, to be quite honest with you. So these still things that Solskjaer does need to work on. Man United is the third club that Solskjaer is managing in his managerial career. So he's inexperienced as a manager because before he came to us, he was at Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles at Mould. And before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. And of course, he was absolutely disastrous at Cardiff. It was a disaster. It was disastrous for him at Cardiff. He only had a short tenure at Cardiff. I think he only managed around 29 games or so for Cardiff. But the main explanation why he got sacked is because he got Cardiff relegated, and that did Solskjaer. But like I said to Solskjaer's still in the process of rebuilding because there's only 5 players that are his so far that he's recommended in. Obviously, like I said to we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era, and that's including the 5 players that Solskjaer has brought in so far. But we've brought a hell of a lot of players in the last 6 or 7 years. Obviously, we've also seen a lot of players go, and we've spent close to the £1 billion range on, recruiting players in and that. Yes, we have spent close to the £1 billion range. And Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Because obviously we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. And we sacked Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. We've only won 3 trophies in the last 6 or 7 years. And that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. And that came in Jose Mourinho's first season at the football club and that. But Solskjaer, is actually inheriting the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's players. Because, the vast majority of these players are Mourinho's. I think there's only about 3 or 4 players that have left, who obviously, Jose Mourinho brought in that. But, yeah. But we haven't dominated football, since the Alex Ferguson era. We haven't dominated. Like I said, Ferguson endured, 26, 27 years at Manchester United, and he had 20-odd years of success. But when we recommended him in from Aberdeen, he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, so let's just put that into the equation. But Solskjaer won't replicate Ferguson's legacy. We'll never have a manager as good as Alex Ferguson. Obviously, I think before we had Ferguson, was it Ron Atkinson? At one point, we had Franco Farrell. We actually got relegated under Franco Farrell, I think. The last time we got relegated was back in 1974, which is 40-odd years ago now, and stuff like that. But like I said to you, I still think there's a lot of players that must stay at Manchester United. Like I've said to you, get rid of players, but I think there's also a lot of players we should keep as well because I think players have improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Definitely keep Rashford, keep Martial. Don't know about him being the foreseeable future, but I'd keep him for next season, definitely, because Martial's rejuvenated himself. Keep McTominay because he's had a good season. Keep Fred, he's done well under Solskjaer this season. He's done well under Solskjaer this season. Lingard and Pereira, you know, they're two players that need to go because they are deadwood. Keep Shaw, keep Lindelof, keep the signings that he's recommended in. I think we probably are going to get Aldina Gallo on a permanent transfer. Well, it actually said from the Daily Express yesterday, us signing a Gallo permanently hinges on Sancho and Kane. So if Sancho was to stay at Dortmund and Kane was to stay at Tottenham, then we'll get Aldina Gallo on a permanent transfer. Who else? Probably keep Bay. He's very injury prone, is Bay, but does very, very well when he plays. Keep De Gea, obviously. Keep Matic, because I think he's also rejuvenated himself. Keep Greenwood. You know, keep Brandon Williams. So there is a hell of a lot of players, you know, I would still keep at Manchester United. I'd probably keep Juan Mata, even though he is aging up and he doesn't get in the team now as much, Juan Mata. So there you go. So, I've obviously, you know, been keeping up to date, haven't I, you know, regarding Moussa Dembele, because he's also been another striker on our agenda, you know, so, there you go, and that. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.